meeting to order and ask Councilman Poole to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilman Poole.
Here.
Councilman Cotton.
Here.
Councilman Littles. Councilman Watson.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
Mayor Lovelace.
Here.
We have a quorum for business, Mayor.
Approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Councilman Cotton to approve the minutes from the last meeting, seconded by Councilman Barton. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and the minutes are approved.
I'd like to welcome our visitors here today. It's good to see you. I'm glad y'all could come this afternoon. Now I want to call a public hearing to order. Approval of the agenda first.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Approval of the agenda.
Mayor, the council has a copy of the agenda, and there's a copy on the wall for those in the audience. Are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda? Hearing none, then all those who would like to approve it as we have it, as presented, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Okay. The agenda is approved as presented.
Call to order a public hearing on Swain Sandwich Shop beer and wine license. And do we have anybody here that's in opposition of the city granting that license? If not, I'll close the public hearing.
The council's wishes can be taken care of in the form of a simple vote, which would be a motion and a second. And based on what the council's wishes are, we'll determine our action from the hearing today.
I'll make that motion that we allow them the beer and wine license.
Second. Motion by Councilman Watson, seconded by Councilman Barton, that we grant approval to have the retail beer license and table wine license for Swain's Sandwich Shop. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole.
Yes.
Councilman Cotton.
Yeah.
Councilman Watson.
Yes.
Councilman Barton.
Yes.
The motion passes and approval is so granted, and we will send a letter to the ABC board stating as much.
Under old business, we have none. Under new business, approval of the accounts payable.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Poole, seconded by Councilman Barton to approve accounts payable. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes and accounts payable are approved.
Next item we have is a retiree's one-time bonus.
In 2014, the legislature gave municipalities an opportunity to provide a one-time bonus for their retirees who were participants in the RSA, the Retirement Systems of Alabama. The legislature has given a mulligan, so to speak, for any municipalities that didn't take advantage of that in 2014. For the retirees that we have, or that we are supporting, a one-time bonus that could provide all the retirees before October 1, 2013, either a $300 one-time bonus or $600 one-time bonus. In order to do that, that would cost the city $19,958. We could pay it off incrementally in fiscal year 2016. So if the council sees fit to pass this, to approve it, those are the figures, and it's entirely up to the discretion of the council as to what to do.
Steve, we just gonna vote on a resolution. As far as the increase you paid, that'd be up to your office, I'm assuming, right?
My office will pay it, yes, sir.
But I'm saying that the increment, you said between 300 to 600?
No, RSA will dole out the money to the retirees. We just will pay the $19,958 incrementally in fiscal year 2016. We'll just pay it off monthly, but RSA will actually write the check and send the money out to the people. Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Cotton, seconded by Councilman Barton to approve resolution number 15-0908. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and resolution number 15-0908 is approved.
Next item, I call on the city clerk.
We have good news. That is, Fire Chief Jeffrey Salter has applied for a FEMA grant to be able to get a brush truck for the Brewton Fire Department. He has been awarded that grant. In order to proceed with the process, it's required that the city pass a resolution pledging matching funds. I believe it's a $126,000 grant, of which approximately $6,000 would be our pledge of matching funds. So in order to continue the process to acquire those funds, it is required that a resolution assuring matching funds be passed. And that resolution is prepared in the form of number 15-0908-1.
I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Barton, seconded by Councilman Watson to approve resolution number 15-0908-1. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and resolution number 15-0908-1 is approved.
Next item is a request for a four-way stop at the intersection of Evergreen Avenue and Granberry Street.
Skip D.
I am really skipping things today.
Leadership class.
Glasses. Put the
I'm
glasses
sorry,
on.
Bill.
You got
The next item is, the Chamber of Commerce holds a Brewton leadership class each year, and I recommend this year that we send Phyllis Neal to that class.
Need a motion and a second to officially act on that.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Barton, seconded by Councilman Watson to approve the mayor's recommendation of Phyllis Neal as the city's participant in the Brewton leadership class for this year. Is there any discussion?
Steve, when will they start this class? Any idea yet?
They should be getting ready to start the month of September now.
Okay.
Councilman Poole?
I vote no, and it's not against Phyllis. I just am not in favor of the city sending anybody to the leadership class.
Councilman Cotton?
Yeah.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes by a vote of 3-1. Phyllis Neal will be approved as the city's representative and participant in the Brewton leadership class.
Next item is we have a request for a four-way stop at intersection of Evergreen Avenue and Granberry Street, and I recommend that we put that four-way stop there in the form of a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Watson has made the motion to put the four-way stop at Evergreen Avenue and Granberry Street per the mayor's recommendation, seconded by Councilman Barton. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes, and we will take corrective measures and actions to put the four-way stop at Evergreen Avenue and Granberry.
The next item is a change order to the downtown boardwalk project, and this is concerning the handrail, the aluminum handrail, the original plans that were used by the contractor to bid that job. The understructure of that, or substructure of that boardwalk was not done exactly as the plans were back whenever it was 30 years ago. So the suggestion today, the best way to attach that handrail is to cut the steel post off that the present handrails have, attach a bracket to that, and then attach the aluminum railing to that. And Steve, do you have the exact number on that? It's approximately $6,000.
$6,000, yes, sir.
And I suggest that we pass a motion to do that, change order.
I so move.
Second.
On the mayor's recommendation, Councilman Barton makes a motion that we allocate $6,000 for the change order for the downtown boardwalk project, seconded by Councilman Watson. Is there any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
The motion passes and the change order is approved.
Do we have any announcements?
I'd like to call on Fire Chief Jeffrey Salter.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, Council, about 4 months ago, ISO come in and done their inspection on the fire department. And I just wanted to give a report. I got the results back Saturday, so I just want to kind of give a report of where we're at and how we got there and how pretty much the process works with ISO. And try to explain it the best I can. Basically, ISO has a system for determining the price for fire insurance in a community through a 1 to 10 classification system. When ISO comes to look at a fire department, all they're doing is checking and making sure that we are providing sufficient and adequate service for the people we protect. And basically, that's all they're doing. It's that simple. In a broad overview, ISO evaluators use NFPA guidelines to determine the quality of service fire departments provide to the community they serve. Based on scoring system, ISO gives fire departments a numeric score, with Class 1 being the best fire department the community could possibly have, down to a Class 10, which means there's not much of any protection in the community. Most communities want growth, and business people definitely look at ISO ratings when they try to come in and bring their businesses into the city of Brewton. And they might not want to risk $1 million or $5 million building if a community has a Class 9 or Class 10 rating, so they may go look elsewhere. So we got some good news to present to the council and mayor today. Steve, that slide right there, basically what they do when they come in, it's pretty much a 3-step process. Our communications is 10% of the whole process, the fire department is 50%, and the water supply is 40%, with a total of 105 points that can be gotten. Talk about communications, they come in and they check, credit for emergency reporting. We scored a 1.995, our dispatchers did, out of a 3. Credit for telecommunications and credit for dispatch circuits. And all that's in the paperwork I handed out to you. It kind of describes what all that means. But basically, our communications got a 7.12 out of a 10, which is up about a 1.5 from 5 years ago, which is a good thing. The fire department, they grade us on credit for engine companies. We got a 4.0 out of a 6. We have 4 engines, and basically that's where they get that score from. Credit for reserve pumpers, we got a 0.5 point. We got full credit for that. Credit for pumper capacity, we got a 3 out of a 3. GPMs for this city is 3,500 gallons a minute. That's what ISO requires to have flow that we have, and we can maintain that. Our pumpers have that capacity to flow that much water. So. Credit for ladder service, we don't have a ladder truck, but we have a service truck that carries about a quarter of what a ladder truck would carry, so we get some credit for having a ladder service. Credit for reserve ladder and service trucks, 0.150, they give us a small amount of credit for our service truck. Credit for deployment analysis, this is where we improved a lot on from 5 years ago. And what this is, they base it on how many pumpers we got and compare it to the size of our city. And, we're pretty adequately equipped for the size of the city we have. One thing I'm proud of on this is they look at all our structure fires. NFPA says we have to, from the time 911 call gets answered to the time we arrive on the scene is about 5 minutes and 33 seconds. That's their requirement. We met that 100% of the time on our structure fire, so actually it was less than 5 minutes. Credit for company personnel, you see where it says 6.51. Basically, we have 6 people on during the day, including me and Captain King, which are day guys, and then 4 guys on shift. And I guess the .51 was counting the guy that comes in at 9 out of 15. So. Credit for training, another part we're really proud of. The ISO guy told me that a 9 is virtually impossible to get, just because of the amount of hours these guys have to get per year, on top of everything else that we have to do. But we almost scored perfect on that. Credit for operational considerations, and basically all that is we have a SOP, standard operating procedures at the fire department, and we do use the National Incident Management System on every call that we go to. So basically we got 33.58 out of 50, which is up almost 5 points from 5 years ago. Water supply is a big deal. They pretty much graded out a class 1 on our water system, which is almost unheard of. They graded on credit for supply system 26 out of 30, and that's how much water is available in the city of Brewton. Credit for hydrants 2.84 out of 3. 10 years ago, we probably had 300 hydrants, and today we have 455 hydrants in the city, so a lot better off than we used to be. Credit for inspection and flow testing. Each year, our firemen go out and inspect all 455 hydrants within the city, and when these guys come in to check that, they won't take, we have to document everything we do on the hydrant. They don't take your word for it. They actually go out and flow. They send me a sheet of 15 hydrants they want to go flow, and they better match up to what our flows are, and they always do. So our water got better. They were 29 5 years ago. They went to 35.97 out of 40, which is very, very good. Divergence points, if your water supply and fire department don't kind of equal out, then they take points away from you, which is unfortunate this time, but if it wasn't for the divergence points, we would have scored a class 2, which is almost unheard of in this part of the country. There's only 900 in the entire United States that are class 2 out of 48,000 fire departments. So we're very proud of what we got. Community risk reduction is, that's where we go out and do our pre-fire plans. We get out in the public, and they give you extra credit for doing that. And we scored, 3 extra points out of 5.50. So total score is 75.62. Minus, if you add that back to the 4.55, we would have scored at 80.17, which is a class 2. But with the divergence points, it brought us back down to a class 3, which is definitely, last year was a class 4. So we moved up to a class 3 this year. And if we move to the next slide, I'll show you why we're excited about this and why I'm proud of everything our guys have done. This is recent. This is 2015 countrywide. This is 48,855 fire departments that ISO inspects. Most of the departments around here are volunteer departments, and most of them are class 9. That's why you see a high number there. We have a couple that actually, do a real good job with their departments, and just 2 fire departments out of the 24, the 20 volunteer departments are class 5. But you can see where we're at now is class 4, and I was told that that's the hardest to move up from class 4 to class 3, and we actually moved from class 4 to 2, and divergence brought us back down to 3. But you can see the numbers there, 2,891 fire departments out of 48,000 fire departments are class 3, and you can add Brewton Fire Department into that class. I'm very, very proud of what we accomplished. It don't happen overnight. 20 years ago when Chief Weaver took over, it was a class 7, and he worked very, very hard to get us to a class 4. And whenever I took over, he told me that become an expert on ISO and learn everything you can. And we never thought a class 3 was possible, because we basically done everything in our power to get a class 4. So what I've done is I sat down and looked at where we was at and where we could improve, and I come up with a plan, and I basically handed it out to my guys and told them this is what we got to do to get here. And they didn't complain about it whatsoever, and they went out and done the job, and we actually jumped 2 spots on paper. And I need to thank Monty and his crew for the communications. They actually upgraded some stuff and actually, they scored better than they did last time. Ray Madden on the water department, it hurts us when they're better than we are. We get the divergence points from that, and I'm not going to tell him to slow down and quit doing such a good job on the water system. The rate out of Class 1 is very, very rare. Normally, big cities normally do that, so very proud of where we've come and where we're going. So, I'd also like to thank the council and the mayor for believing in us, supporting the fire department, because definitely without your support, we wouldn't be where we're at now. So that's all I got. I appreciate it.
Chief, I'd just like to say that you and your fire department, to get this way, that's an outstanding job. I know how hard it is. I happen to be in the insurance business. There'll be a premium savings for every citizen in Brewton that has fire insurance, commercial and personal. And for that, you and your whole department be commended.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief, I got one question. How long is that rating good for, and when will the city be reviewed again?
Used to it was 10 years they come back, and they switched it to 5, but now about every 3 years they come back and regrade us again. And this grade, Class 3, will go into effect December of this year. So in 3 more years, probably after December, they'll come back and regrade us again. So we're ready for them. We'll grade out.
I don't know if we'll ever get below a 3, because that's really amazing to get to a 3. That's puts you in about the top 5 or 6%. So.
Right. Normally, to get a Class 2, or to get a Class 3, you have to spend millions of dollars. And we've done that, but it's been over the last 18, 20 years. We've spent a lot of money on fire, a lot of money on water, but it's been over, the last 20 years. To get a 2, basically buy like a $700,000 ladder truck and add 4 or 5 more guys, you probably could get a 2. We'll keep working at it, and, down the road, we'll see where we go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I've got an outline.
I don't have anything else, sir.
I'd like, Mrs. Henry Hill donated to the city these 2 photographs, which are original Army Air Corps photographs from 1929 flood of downtown Brewton. And so they'll be displayed in the City Hall for anybody that wants to look at them. But I just do appreciate the Hill family donating these to the city. Any comments?
Motion to adjourn. You know what, we need to get our picture on that back wall.